Well, good evening, and thank you for being here this evening. This is a big night for us. As a Board of Education, tonight we will select an individual to serve in the next 2 years in a seat that was previously held by Jeff Davis in District 4. So we have a full evening ahead of us as we find a new board member to serve in that role. The leaders here with me this evening take it seriously, how important it is for us as we educate our future. And I am pleased that they are here with me this evening to be able to share with you this evening as we talk about the court case and the Gannon decision for the funding decision. Before I share some prepared remarks and invite Mr. Rohde and Mr. Rogers to speak, I want to make note that there is still a lot that we do not know. Today's decision is about 88 pages long, and it will take some time to go through that carefully to understand fully what the court's decision really means for us. With that said, we know that the court's decision is a positive thing for Kansas kids. And I would like to share a few prepared remarks with you. First, I want to say that I am grateful for the thorough and deliberate nature in which the court reviewed the case. This has been a lengthy and complex case which has at the heart the future of our state. And I don't take the gravity of the court's decision lightly and appreciate their faithful service to the citizens of Kansas. And second, we have said often that education is the economic development. And we have nearly 500,000 plus public school students in the state of Kansas, and the future sits in our classrooms today. For Kansas economic to be prosperous, we must be able to embrace the notion that the solution to our workforce challenges sits in our classrooms across the state of Kansas, like those in Wichita, in this beautiful place where we stand tonight in North High School. The court's ruling today, which states that the new school funding formula neither is adequate or equitable. It allows us to look ahead to solve problems, to seek solutions that support Kansas kids, and to grow our state's economy. The third thing I want to remind you of is how the Wichita Public Schools is investing the additional funding our district has received this year, and who else would be most important to it's Mr. Rohde. I was getting ready to say. Who's most important to be able to do that is Mr. Rohde. So he's our president of the Board of Education. He is the president, and we also will have remarks from Mr. Lynn Rogers.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. As you know, following 97 million cuts over the last 8 years, we are pleased to have the opportunity this year to stop the bleeding and begin reinvesting in Wichita classroom. Our district received approximately $28 million in the new funding this year. Our budget's priorities this year included recruitment and retention of staff through compensation, at-risk programs, including those designed to increase graduation rates, and focus on student social and emotional needs through the investments in professional development, curriculum, and staffing. We at Wichita Public Schools invest 88 cents out of every operational dollar we receive on students, classrooms, and schools. We focus our budget on those things to provide the greatest return for the support of Wichita students. I'm confident that as our district receives additional funding, we will continue to invest where it matters the most and keep our eyes on the target, which is students who are prepared for success in college and career wherever their pathway may lead them upon graduation. Finally, I'm pleased to ask our veteran board member, Mr. Lynn Rogers, to step forward and share a few remarks. Mr. Rogers is our board representative to the Schools on Fair Funding organization, has seen this case from the start to the finish.
Thank you, President Rudy. I do want to take people back a little bit. I joined the board at the conclusion of the Montoy case and have been here on every meeting as we've followed through on the Gannon case. And again, remind people that it's been a 7-year process to do this. This is actually the 5th Gannon decision that the courts have issued, and it's actually the 12th in a row that's been granted in favor of public schools. I'm not surprised by this ruling. I did spend the afternoon reading through it, and they were pretty pointed. And they agree with many of the things that I said on the Senate floor, that this school finance formula that we passed was inadequate, the adequacy was not correct, and the equity was not correct, that we got them both wrong. And many of the things that I highlighted on the Senate floor, you know, the 10% risk and all those kind of things, it really pushed much of the taxing authority onto our wealthy school districts, and the poor and rural districts, urban and rural, had to spend a lot more locally than what we were supposed to. So I'm encouraged by the ruling. I'm discouraged by some of my colleagues' responses already, that they don't want to deal with it. And we can't go there. We have to follow with what the Supreme Court says. And I would like to join in with the call for Senator Hensley of asking the Legislative Coordinating Council, which is the group that helps manage the legislature in the off session, to start that process. They can appoint a committee to start working on it, because if we wait until January to start this process, the ruling really says we need to have things done by April 30th so they can start arguing the case. And we usually don't meet in April, so that means we've got 3 months to do it, and there's a lot of work that we need to correct. So I'm looking forward to it. As a state senator, as my role transitions from a board member to being just a state senator, I want to make sure that we take care of our kids, and this is good news for just not Wichita kids only, but all Kansas kids. And again, it says how important education is to our state, how important it is to each and every community in the state of Kansas, and what it means for our future if we don't invest in our kids. And it isn't a tax, it's an investment in our future. It's an economic development tool that we need to be proud of, and so we need to really do the best thing for our children. So, Alicia, or anyone else? Alicia.
All right. All right, thank you all for speaking on behalf of the school district. And no doubt the conversations are not over. We're just beginning with the conversations. And we look forward to working with our board, our state elected officials, and our local educators and superintendents across the state to find solutions in the best interest of our Kansas kids. Well, thank you very much, and we appreciate you all being here this evening, and we look forward to continued dialogue as we move forward.